Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for me to do the release and review of the June 2025 release. Super cute stuff. So first of all, I'm going to start with the new Gnome Friends Cat dice and the new cat faces stamp set. So I'm going to bring the cat faces up so you can see all the super cute faces. Look at all of them. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then next this is an A2 size card base. And I'm going to grab my little kitty cats. So I've got one with stripes and die cut eyes. There's one with stripes and a stamped face. I made a calico with a stamped face for this one. And then this one is a die cut face, but this one is actually holding a little yarn ball. Isn't that cute? So it's adorable. You know, you can stamp the faces. You could use die cuts on the faces. You could use googly eyes on the faces or an enamel dot, whatever you want. Now, remember, you can watch me do an assembly video of these. So check that out. And everything that I use to make these will be listed underneath the assembly video like I always do. Okay, next we have the brand new Gnome Friends Dog dice, along with the brand new Dog Faces stamp set. So have a look. Isn't that cute? Super cute stuff. There we go. And remember, there is an assembly video for these, so check that out. And then under the video, everything that I used to make those little doggies will be listed right under that assembly video like I always do. Okay, so here's an A2 size card. So here's one with a stamped face. Here's another one with a stamped face, but this one has a tongue. Okay. And this one has a fluffy tail. This one has a regular tail. This one has spots. This one also has spots. Okay, this one has the different type of ears with a big spot on the eye. Isn't that cute? And this one just has the die cut face. Another type of dog. Isn't that cute? Just the die cuts. And then this one has the actual die cut eyes that you can make. And that is it. So super cute stuff. You can see how large they are in an A2 size card, right? Remember that the Jaded Blossom gnome dice, you know, their little hats and all their equipment, you know, you can basically have the dogs wearing most of it or holding it, you know, like all of our little gnome friends, like with all of our little gnome friends, you can do that. So super cute stuff. And like I said, everything will be listed underneath the assembly video for those ones. We also have this adorable new Gnome Dies Pet Add Ons. Lots of little dies on this one. There's an assembly video for this one separately. Check it out. Everything that I used will be listed underneath that assembly video. So I'm just going to show you what the pieces look like. Sorry. So I've got a little girl gnome here, and she's on an A2 size card front. And then we can have, okay, so we've got a hamster she can hold. Isn't that cute? A hamster she can hold. She can be holding, oops, like this. She can be holding a little bone. She can be holding a little fish tank or fish bowl. She can be holding a gross snake, like yuck, right? Whoops, there we go, oops. I'm gonna use a boy for some of these, whoops. Okay, can be holding a turtle. Oops, can be holding a dog bowl with bones in it. Can be holding a little lizard. Can be holding a little bird cage with a bird in it. And lastly, can be holding a little fishbone thing. Now remember, the cats and dogs can also hold these things. You just use their little paws for them, right? Don't put the legs on and just use the little paws to hold these little images. So remember, you can do that as well. Now, I also made them without the little background pieces so you can see. So we've got a little hamster, a little dog bone, a dog bowl with bones, or an empty dog bowl. We've got a bone. We've got a fish bone, lizard, bird cage with bird, fish bowl, little turtle, and a gross snake. So pretty cute, and you can make cards like without the gnomes actually holding them if you don't want to make, if you don't want to use the ones that they are holding, like the little hands, right? You can make them without the hands and use them on cards. So super cute. And remember, like I said, there's an assembly video and everything that I used will be listed underneath that video. Now, Michelle will also have in the store some MDF pieces. These are not included in the release at all. Not included. They're separate purchase, but I just wanted to show you. So there's a standing cat, a standing dog piece. So the little dog will fit on it like so, right? And he can be standing, little MDF. We can have a little tag or ornament hanging, or we can have, I can have, here's a little kitty cat. This can be an ornament or a tag. And the same thing goes for the standing one. So remember, you can always add this on if you order the Gotta Have It Now or order a few of these items. You could always add this on, in addition to the release, because these are super fun to play with, right? So just saying, remember, MDF is not included in the release. That's a separate purchase. Okay, now this is included in the release. This is called Life is Tweet. Just going to pull this out. And this is an A2 size card. So it says, the best things in life are rescued, time to celebrate, right? Sort of fun with the turtle. Have a hamsterific birthday, obviously the hamster. Fluff around and find out, any kind of furry animal. Happy bird day with the bird. Less people, more animals with any of them. Life is tweet with the bird. Thank you for pet sitting for anything. Thank you furry much for anything. Have a super birthday, that would be like a snake. And treat junkie, right? Super cute stuff. And there is a set of outline dies you could also use for these. Super fun stuff and great sentiments for this release. We also have the brand new stamp set. Oops, let's get it here. Here we are. This is called Forever in Our Hearts. There we go. And of course, I have lost my little card base. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, so this is called Forever in Our Hearts. There are matching outline dies too in this release. So super fun stuff. Now, this is like a bereavement set and for pets, right? I've been asked by numerous people to make them a sympathy card for someone that lost their beloved pet. And I'm just going to go over the different sentiments. Okay, so it says, a pet's love is never replaced, but always remembered. Pets teach us the purest kind of love. Paw prints remain on our hearts in our hearts forever. Our furry friends stay in our hearts forever. Play in our hearts forever. Oh my goodness. Stay in our hearts forever. Forever in our hearts, no matter how long, it is never long enough. Too true. In this time of loss and sadness, may your heart be filled with wonderful memories of love. That could be easily used on a normal sympathy card, right? Hold on to the love, not the loss. That could also be used on a normal sentiment or normal sympathy card. My deepest sympathy, same thing. And sorry for the loss of your furry friend, obviously for a pet. But we've needed this set forever, and I've been asking for this one, so I just think this will be perfect for all those pet sympathy cards. And lastly, we have our stencils. This is called the Paw Print stencil. This is a 2-part stencil, and here is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? I did it on pattern paper. This was, what's it called? This is from Bella Boulevard, Bella Besties. 6-inch paper pad. This is the kind of white with the gray dot. And I used picked raspberry and vintage photo distress oxide ink to ink blend it. Remember, stay tuned to the end of the video and you can watch me ink blend it if you want. So that's one of the stencils included. Now this one is called the Fishbone Stencil. This is the freebie with $50 purchase. You know, there's always a time limit. There's always, you know, you have to have at least one item from the cart in there before shipping and handling while supplies last and for a certain number of days. But for $50 spent, you can get this added to your cart. Super cute, fun for your cat cards. And then here it is. I used Opaque Matte Ranger Distress Paste on that same paper pad from Stamping Bella. And that's what it looks like. But stay tuned to the end of my video and you can watch me ink blend this. Okay, so now for the using of the stencil. So first I'm going to use this freebie stencil with $50 purchase, you know, follow the rules. And I'm going to use it on that Stamping Bella or Bella Boulevard Bella Besties freehand graph dot. And I'm using Ranger Opaque Matte Texture Paste. I'm just spreading it all over the whole thing. Now, you want to do this pretty quickly, and you want to then put your stencil and your little palette knife in like warm water right away, because this stuff will dry like rock, and then you won't be able to get it off. So, you know, just word to the wise, stick it right on the water. So this is super simple. I'm just spreading it on as evenly as I can. And then I can let it dry. It, you know, dries in about 10 minutes. But, you know, just quickly spreading it all over the place. So this is a super cute stencil, perfect for your kitty cats, right? So I'm just covering up my texture paste with some wrap and then putting my lid on. And then I'm going to peel off that stencil and then I will soak it. Next we have our Paw Print stencil, and I'm going to ink blend onto the same paper from the same pad. I'm using, for the little paw prints, I'm using Distress Oxide ink and Vintage Photo, and then Picked Raspberry for the hearts. So like I said, this is a super cute release. Remember that the Gotta Have It Now was available earlier in the week, and you can still get the whole release, you know, while supplies last. And I think this is a super cute one to add to your little repertoire. Remember, the MDF pieces are not included in the release, but you can pick them up as an add-on if you want to make little cat MDF pieces or little dog MDF pieces. Super cute. And yeah, so I just think this is an adorable, fun release. Remember, all those Gnome add-ons pretty much can work with the dogs and cats. You know, hats and, you know, equipment, stuff like that. That would be super cute. Okay, so I'm just using a blender brush to, you know, try and get a pretty solid blend. I'm going to peel off the paw prints, and now I'll add on the little hearts lastly. And then that's it. Remember that you want to go and check out my video for today with my project. Remember to check out the Jaded Blossom Hop. Everyone has some great products for this release, so you can be really inspired by all of those. So this is Distress Oxide in Picked Raspberry. And then that's it. I just think this is so fun. Remember that I have assembly videos for all of the new dies. And hopefully you'll be inspired with what I came, you know, with all the projects I came up with for this release. I just had a great time. So here we go, almost done. Gotta love Distress Oxide ink for blending on, you know, patterned or colored paper, because it does have a pigment quality, so it will sit on top of the paper a bit, which is awesome compared to dye inks. They take a little longer to dry, but that's it. So there we go. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team. The Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these products. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.